And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 13th day of March 2023. And before we get into the next conversation, we've had one about blind chess. Quite interesting and quite inspiring. We'll be moving on to shooting and just one of the different forms of shooting competitions that happen here. Keeping up with what we have got in the news, a visit to Huduma Centers today by the Principal Secretaries for Public Service. We also have got the handover of agricultural aircraft to Desert Locust Control Organization for East Africa. That's happening today. And also Parliament committee meetings going on, keeping up with all of that, plus whatever is happening in the courts and also in the world of sport. Remember, if you need to get in touch with us, our Twitter handle is at KBC Channel 1. And also remember, my handle is at Mr. Wahome. The hashtag is SportsCheck. Our sign language interpreter is Lucy Moura. We now move on to the second conversation. And over the Easter weekend, Kenya will be hosting the International Defense Pistol Association of Africa Championships. This competition has traditionally been held in South Africa. The South Africans actually tend to dominate this, but Kenyans, they've picked that up and they are competing and they want to get to that level. This is a form of shooting. We're used to what we'd call where you've got a target that's been set and you're static, either you're prone or standing, and you basically shoot at that target. But this is different. There's a lot of movement. And to help us understand about this, on my immediate left, we've got Mahir Mohamed Omar. He's Kenya's youngest master shooter, IDPA. And on my immediate left, we've got Belinda Amuom. She is a sharpshooter. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Well, Belinda, I won't go so much into details, but just give us a background of this defensive pistol shooting competition as it is, given that everyone knows target shooting. The simple form, kwa pistol, lenga, pap. But this is different.
Okay. Thank you so much, Wahome, for having me here. I am Belinda. I'm a sharpshooter in SSP, stock service pistol. Stock service pistol means your gun the way you bought it, factory made, without changing anything. Yeah, so about IDPA shooting, IDPA means International Defensive Pistol Association. Generally, it simulates daily life scenarios. Yeah, like the way you can handle a scene when you're under attack or in any competition.
Well, yeah. Normally I would run away. Anyone with a gun is a person with a gun.
No, you're not supposed to run away. You're supposed to stand up and fight, defend yourself and your family or your friends or whoever you are with.
No. So then give us that scenario now, for example, where here you are, here I am.
Yeah.
Somebody's coming my way, trying to, then I've got to make those movements. You can probably even use your phone as a prop, so that at least we can see the practicality of it.
Okay, so let me give a scenario of where you're in a restaurant having your coffee or your lunch. Yeah, then definitely your gun will be away where you keep it, probably in a holster or in your handbag or wherever. Yeah, so the enemy doesn't warn you that I'm coming, so get ready. So you should always be ready. Whenever you're walking with your gun, just make sure you're ready for anything and alert. That's why most of the times whenever you go to restaurants, you're supposed to sit from a position you're able to see whoever is coming in, and you're also supposed to watch every person's demeanor. You know, when you're a bright person, you're supposed to be able to know, hey, Mahir is up to something. Yeah, so when the enemy strikes, you're not supposed to care about anything. Ati chai itamwagika nini. Just push the table away, draw your gun, and deal.
That sounds like a Western movie. Somewhere without Clint Eastwood, just roll that and they start.
Yeah, just deal with the person, making sure that every other person that's not a bad guy is safe. Yeah, because when you shoot someone who's not who is not an enemy, it becomes a different story. Yeah, so you should only deal with an enemy. Yeah.
All right. Mahir.
Yes, sir.
How did you pick up this sport?
Well, I used to follow my dad. My dad started shooting back then, around 10 years ago. Yeah, let's say 10 years ago. So I used to accompany him to the range. I used to just see how people shoot. Then slowly, I was caught up.
And this is target shooting?
No, this was IDPA.
IDPA.
IDPA then. So I used to always watch from him, learn from him. Also, not only him, but also other top shooters who shoot with him. So I've been learning. I was just watching for a period of like 2 to 3 years, just watching. And then I started taking, we call stats. So I used to take records of all the shooters, the results, compile them and everything. So it started as that.
You're the person who used to keep all the scoring records?
I am the head of statistics, yes. So with that, then later my dad asked me, do you want to try? So I just tried a few shots. Then slowly, just by learning also, just by watching. I just used to watch, and I apply the same on when my turn comes to shoot. So on 2018 is when he asked me, like, are you really up for it? So I took it full force. I hibernated. I left. He used to take me, he used to teach me. My dad is my coach, actually, and he's also a master. Yeah.
I mean, she wouldn't understand, but it's very difficult to please your father.
Yes.
He will tell you. Having your father as a coach, it's tough.
Must be a task.
Yeah, so apart from my dad also, all master shooters, I can say all master shooters in Kenya, I've really learned a lot from them. All top shooters in Kenya have played a big role in where I am today, but mainly my father, because he's the one who's my coach. So I really thank him a lot. So in 2018, actually my first competition, I shot it by learning, just by watching. I became second last, not last. So I went away, my dad took me. The first competition after he trained me, I became 12th overall.
After how many years? Because you said you went into hibernation.
2 months.
2 months?
Yes, 2 months. So I became 12th out of like 60 people. Then after that, I did a classification. I did a classification in 2019. I became an expert, from unclassified to an expert. So after that, I also went to South Africa, competed as an expert. And in 2021, I promised I'll become a master, and I'm a master now. Yeah.
Well, just tell us about this progression. Unclassified.
There's unclassified, there's novice, there's marksman, sharpshooter, expert, master, and then we have distinguished master, which there's none in Africa yet. You're supposed to compete in the United States of America at an IDPA Nationals or IDPA World Championships and beat everyone in your division.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Belinda,
Yeah.
just tell us about your progression such that now you're known as a sharpshooter, which means you're above marksman, markswoman.
Okay. Okay, there's no such thing as markswoman.
It's marksman.
It's marksman regardless of the gender. Yeah, so
anyway, start from that where, where you start now.
Okay.
Now, novice up the ranks to where you are now.
Okay, I started shooting in back in 2015 actually. Yeah, after we left training, then we posted to G. So you can't have a single person training you, because everyone has their specialities. There can be an instructor, yes, he's a gun instructor, but just as mechanics, utapata, there's someone who specializes in wiring, blah, blah, blah. So you'll find someone who will teach you the basics. Then there's someone who teaches you an advanced level of shooting. So my first classification was a marksman. I never took any break on the novice category. Yeah, from marksman,
you had the advantage of your background.
Yeah, I had the advantage of my background, and then I think I was a bit aggressive when I was starting shooting. So it jump-started me to, it pushed me to a marksman without getting to the novice class. So I competed there, got a few trophies. Of course, I had a bad performance when I was starting. Yeah, but with consistency, not giving up on yourself. Yeah, just promising yourself that when I grow up, I want to shoot like any master shooter you know. Yeah, like let me say I want to shoot like Mahir. So you have to follow in the steps of what he does, the training. Maybe you tag along whenever they're going to the range. Yeah, so just that. So I did marksman category for about a year. Then
if I was to use, for example, a simple let me just draw this circle.
Yeah.
This paper here.
Yes.
This being the bullseye now. If I was to pick this up as a marksman, where ideally would you hit?
The inner circle.
The innermost.
The innermost.
The innermost.
Yes.
So that means right here, doing the bullseye.
Yes. Yeah.
So novice.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. Being a novice doesn't mean your shooting must be bad. You can be, in fact, even in our competitions we do, you find that someone is a novice but performs maybe better than a marksman. Yeah. So being a novice or a marksman doesn't mean you're not supposed to perform better than an expert or a sharpshooter.
Okay, I'll be coming back to you. So Mahir, now let's talk about moving from marksman now to sharpshooter. What's the difference? Because if what we call in Kenya, when we say you're a sharpshooter, it means you're hitting right the middle. Because that's a common one.
Yeah. You see, all of this, we said International Defensive Pistol Association, these are based on real life scenarios. So what is picked actually, you can shoot as good and hit the perfect bullseye. But what's overall is your time, the time that you took to shoot that specific stage or string. We call it string. Your time is added to that score. So you can take all the time that you want, but and shoot the innermost target, the innermost hole, you can say, according to that scenario. But you'll have taken a lot of time. So let's say you took 50 seconds, so you have 50. But a sharpshooter, or a master, will have 3 shots out, or maybe 2 shots out, at 15 seconds. So 15 plus 3 is 18. The difference is 32. Wow. That's the difference. So obviously you need to shoot as accurate as possible, and with the short least time, the most efficient way. So that's where the math adds up.
Okay. So let me come back to you, Belinda, now, because this is all about movement. Just like the pictures that we are seeing on our screen, maybe Frank, you could play them so that people, you can play them now. As is happening here. Yes. I know that's that's PCC, the cup.
Yes.
Yeah,
the carbine.
PCC.
PCC.
Pistol carbine.
Yeah, the pistol carbine.
Yeah.
Yeah, in between a pistol and the larger rifles.
Yeah.
So the whole idea here, we can see that there's something being held.
Yeah.
And a lot of quick movement. Yeah. Just describe that, because that's a competition you're headed for.
Okay.
For the PCC.
So just to explain. What I'm seeing there is a stage. That's a competition in Kirigiti range. So when you're doing your competition, the first thing you're supposed to consider, the way Mahir mentioned, you must ensure the safety, your own safety as a shooter, and the safety of the other range users. That's why in the videos you're watching, whether someone is moving to the left or right, front or backward, their muzzle is forward. downrange. That's what I mean. Yeah, so other than checking your safety, your gun should not point over the bum. Over the bum means a bit higher. It should be parallel to the ground. And not pointing your feet or any part of your body. Whether you're doing a reload, your firing finger, if you're watching the fingers of those shooters, firing finger is clearly and obviously outside the trigger guard, so that in case of a fall or any tripping, you don't discharge. Yeah. So you should also ensure you're getting your shots correctly and at a good speed. That's why you see everyone is chasing time. So if you want to shoot slowly, the bill is on you. Your time ndio inaenda. Yeah, so you should take the least time possible to shoot a stage and to get your shots in target.
Mahir, two competitions, and this is what I want to take a look at. The pistol carbine. We've seen the larger gun. It's basically about the length of my arm.
Yes.
What's different with that and an ordinary pistol when it comes to this competition?
Okay. Most of the times, you see, you're more stable with a longer barrel. You're more in control. So the recoil management is very minimal, as you can see from the videos. But the pistol, the recoil is very high. So it's easier for you to lose your shots on the pistol rather than the pistol caliber carbine. And all these are coming to different divisions. So when I talk about master, when I talk about expert sharpshooter, there's this pistol caliber carbine, there's stock service pistol. So in even pistol, there are different divisions. So there's pistol caliber carbine, which is the carbine, and then we have the stock service pistol, which Madam Belinda shoots in, and then we have enhanced service pistol. This is where now the pistol is bought from the manufacturer, and then you do some modifications so that maybe your trigger pull is lighter, your grip, you adjust you adjust to your wanting, to your liking. So that's why it's called enhanced service pistol.
Kwa hivyo sisi watu wa fat fingers.
You might get a stock service pistol that suits your hand. So after enhanced service pistol, we have the compact carry pistol, which I'm a master in. Compact carry pistol.
Okay, describe that.
Yes.
In simple English.
Compact carry pistol.
Yes. What's that?
So this is compact. See, it's not long. Enhanced service pistol and stock service pistol have longer barrel lengths. This compact carry pistol, they're mainly what you use for carry. What you carry most of the time. So the barrel length is always shorter, which means there are disadvantages. So you cannot compare someone who's using an enhanced service pistol to a compact carry pistol or a stock service pistol.
The enhanced pistol is basically more Kenyan.
Exactly. But now not really more Kenyan. It also depends on the shooter. I can give the enhanced, which has every mode that you can think of, and I give it to a novice shooter. He will not shoot it as the expert shooter, right? That's why we all have this different divisions.
So ideally it's like giving me a rally car.
Exactly. Yes.
Still won't perform with it.
Yes. So the compact carry, we have the backup gun. These are very shorter with minimum amount of rounds in the item. We have custom defensive pistol, which are bigger calibers. We have the carry optics. These ones have the red dot, the optic on the item. So when we talk about master, we talk about sharpshooter. These are classes that are in the division. So people tend to feel like there's a top master shooter or top. There are top masters and there are top sharpshooters in their particular divisions. Yes.
Now let me come to this, because the National Gun Owners Association of Kenya always talk about safety, especially for those who are people who own firearms. We've seen people anywhere they go, unajua niko na hii kitu niko na hii kitu ndakulete. We've had people have been shot. What are simple rules about gun safety?
Okay, the first thing about gun safety, you should always treat every weapon as if loaded. Whether it's me using my gun, then I placed it on the table, then someone comes and finds it on the table, which I'm not supposed to do. I'm not supposed to leave it unattended. Yeah, but just in case, when Mahir comes across this gun, he should not assume that, see, I can see the slide is back and chamber is empty. No, when you come across such a gun, treat it as loaded, pick it up safely and make sure it's safe, and then keep it somewhere in a holster or in a bag or somewhere just closed. The second thing with the guns, your firing finger must be visibly and clearly, obviously outside the trigger guard at all times until your sights are on target. Let's say in a competition or the scenario I was explaining, you should never place that trigger finger, your index finger, into the trigger guard or on the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Yes. So the reason why I say that, whenever your sights are not on target, but the finger is already in case of anything, you can discharge. You can easily discharge, because the first thing people do when they trip or when they fall, they tend to kunja their fingers. Yeah. So when you do this, it's most likely you'll get a discharge, and there are always no sorries whenever a discharge occurs that you shot at wahome. They say, hey, wahome, I didn't intend to shoot you. Here you'll have to deal with it. Rule number 3, Mahir, help me.
Never point at anything you don't wish to destroy.
Yes, yeah, your muzzle should never cover anything that you don't intend to destroy. Anything you don't intend to destroy, that means when I'm shooting at this target or when I'm shooting at that lady, I should never point at anything else other than her. Yeah, you understand? The last thing,
know your target and what's beyond and before it.
That's the boundaries. Your target and what's within it. So like behind and sideways and in front.
Okay, explain that, Mahir, because you've said it, everything around the target. So here I am. I mean, even just taking a look at your targets. So here, this is my target. I need to know what's here, 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 here.
Yeah.
What if I can't see behind?
Well, in most scenarios, you can see behind, because there are scenarios whereby you find an armed thug is holding a civilian hostage, so they can be side by side. What we mean by know your target and what's beyond it is you're not meant, you as a shooter, you're not meant to shoot a civilian.
An
so you need
innocent
to
person,
that's an innocent person. So you can be in a scenario in a restaurant and this takes a civilian hostage, or maybe one of the waitresses hostage. What you do, know your target, know where he is. You as a shooter, you should know what you need to do for that person, so that you can shoot that person, not the civilian. So in a scenario whereby you have a civilian, an armed thug here, and a civilian here, I as a shooter should know what to do to hit this person. So I move on the side and hit him, right? That's what we mean by know your target, what's beyond and what's before. And in these scenarios when we're shooting, you are penalized if you hit that civilian target. From the videos you could see the others are brown,
yes,
and the one is white. The white one is treated as a civilian. Yeah.
Bring that out, because we will have that video played back again, because at each point we're seeing two.
Yes.
Belinda, take us through that.
Yeah. What Mahir says simply is you can have this as a target. This is the threat.
Yes.
Then maybe in front of it or slightly behind it, there's a non-threat.
Oh.
It passed.
All right, Mahir, let the clips roll now. Okay.
So what I'm saying
That's the white thing.
Yeah, the white thing, for example. So you as a shooter, or you as a someone holding your gun,
yes,
you're supposed to adapt a suitable position and angles that ensures you don't hit the non-threat. So it means either if you find it necessary to kneel or to squat or even go prone, it depends. Scenarios are different. So at all times, you should never put any shot on the non-threat. Yeah.
What's the penalty for hitting a non-threat? Because I can already see the non-threat has been hit severally.
Well, I can say you have eagle eyes.
5 seconds added to your
Well,
time.
it's 5 second penalty.
Added
Yes.
to your time.
All right, now, getting yourselves ready for these African Championships. And, for Ngao, Kenya, what's the whole thing? Because South Africa are the people who do this thing quite a lot. Just give us, the whole setup and how you're getting ready for the Easter weekend.
So, well, I can say we are privileged as Kenyans. We have this competition again in Kenya. We had it in 2021. We're having it again in 2023. All I can say is this time we were more than ready. Now that the IDPA Africa Championships is under now the Ngao Kenya Defensive Pistol Federation and the Ministry of Sports coming in, it's really, really, really a huge thing to us. The support means everything to us, and this time we can say it's different. We are going to give them a championship that they've never seen before. This time is different than previously. What I can say, what I mean by different is we now have the support of the government. We have the support of the Ministry of Sports. So this really means a lot to us shooters and as Ngao Kenya members. Yeah.
The numbers that you intend to have, maybe you could give me information around that. I mean, from men's and women's side.
Okay, we're expecting to have at least 200 shooters who are supposed to shoot for around 6 days. Yeah, in 6 days, everyone should have shot their competition. So in the 6 days, safety officers are doing a pre-shoot, which will take, I think, a total of 2 days, so that we can be able to run the rest of the shooters. Yeah, safety officers play a bigger role in such a match because it's a big match. It's an international. It's a level 3. Yeah, so it needs professionalism, and we should give it our best.
What's the key role of a safety officer? Because you've mentioned that at these competitions.
Okay, safety officers in this case, the primary role of a safety officer is to ensure the safety of the shooter. Yeah, you should ensure the shooter is handling their gun correctly and not putting their lives or any other shooters around in danger.
So, kama wale tunaona kwa anytime behind, what's the function of that device?
That is a timer, and the person who holds the timer is the primary safety officer. So, when in such a video, your hands are always relaxed at sides, and then the timer buzzes. So when it buzzes is when now that's what counts. It counts the shots. So the more shots you take, the more you continue shooting, the more the time goes. So that's what counts the time. That's what picks the time of the shooter. Then now
it also picks the sound every shot.
Exactly.
It records that.
Yes. Yeah. So it records your first shot. Let's say now you're training. You're doing your training. That's out of the competition. So you take your splits. You're able to take your splits. What's the time that it took you from this shot to this shot? Your first shot to the second shot. Your transition from this target to this target. You're able to pick this time and you're able to work on them. So ideally, the primary safety officer runs the timer. When he finishes running the timer, he makes sure that the range is clear. When it's clear, now you move forward and score the target.
All right, thank you very much. Easter weekend, the 15th edition of the International Defensive Pistol Association, the African Championships. They will be taking place at the Kirigiti Range in Kiambu County, and the African nations will be here. And six-time African champion, Ian van der Bank, is coming, huh?
Yes.
And you said you want to show him dust. That's a local language.
Exactly. This time around, we want to show him dust. And actually, shooters from Estonia, shooters from Russia, shooters from USA are going to be with us.
Oh.
Yes.
Very interesting. Easter weekend is Mahir, Mohamed, Omar atatuonyesha umahiri wake hiyo weekend ya Easter kulenga shabaha, and we've got Belinda Amuom. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us.
Okay.
And all the best.
Thank you very much.
Hope to see you over the Easter weekend.
Okay.
See you soon, Mr. Omar.
We'll be taking a short break, and when we come back, let's talk about personal fitness as we continue with a final interview on this morning's edition of Sports Check.